reviewing... No, I'm just kidding. It's Manga Mondays! Manga Mondays is back! Yay! It's actually Monday this week, and this week's theme is Kingdoms. Don't worry, I did look through everyone's comments in the last Manga Monday video that was actually Manga Monday, and I decided to do something a bit more specific because I felt like if I jumped around to shonen and shoujo and all the general ones really quickly, I would run out really quickly. The first series I wanted to show you guys is called Dawn of the Arcana. Here are the first 3 books for Dawn of the Arcana. I do have the 12 running translated and published volumes, but I don't have that many hands, so this is just volumes 1 to 3. Dawn of the Arcana is about a princess who's forced to marry her enemy country's prince. And because she has red hair while everyone in the enemy lands have black hair, she's kind of like shunned as being this really cursed child. I picked up Dawn of the Arcana because I really love the art style. Rei Toma is really talented. This is one of her first manga series, I believe, and she got published really, really quickly. The only thing is, in Dawn of the Arcana, it's a lot more visuals than text. I found that I was breezing through the stories really quickly just because there were a lot more visuals to the story, and even though it's supposed to be like kingdoms and there is a lot of like politics stuff as you get deeper into the story, they throw in a little bit of magic stuff and you do find out what arcanas are and why it's called Dawn of the Arcana. Today I'm going to try and touch on different kingdom-themed manga for different demographics and different viewership. Dawn of the Arcana is more for shoujo. There is a pretty strong like romance plot to it on the side, but at the same time it balances out really well with the political stuff that's going on. So everything develops very evenly at its own pace. I know this is super popular online, so if you girls are interested in this, definitely check it out. If you want to buy this, it is produced by Shoujo Beat, and right now, like I said, there are only 12 volumes out. The next series I wanted to talk about shifts a little bit more for shonen and seinen readers, and it is called the Sacred Blacksmith. And I picked this up again because I really like the character design on the front. It is produced by 7 Seas Entertainment right now. There are 4 volumes up, but I only have 3. It's about a girl named Cecily Campbell who is part of the noble ranks of a night guard. She kind of goes on her little personal adventure to figure out how she's going to become a really noble and really amazing knight because she really is very dedicated to this kingdom. When the story starts off, she has a really old sword she inherits from her father, and in first battle it shatters. So there is a kingdom spin on it, but this is called Sacred Blacksmith because there's more of a weaponry kind of twist on it. And they teach you how to forge a sword in the bonus comics, which is kind of cool, I think. Like I said, this is in the older shonen kind of seinen category, so there is some ecchi in it. There is a bit of fan service inserted into it, and sometimes I'm like, okay, I guess you could do that. But overall, I like the characters. I think they're pretty interesting. At the end of book 1, you meet Luke Ainsworth, who is the blacksmith who's going to forge a new sword for Cecily. And he's actually a really interesting character, more so than Cecily, I think. She's kind of like your typical headstrong hero, but then Luke actually has really interesting backstory, I think, and I have to read on to figure out where he is from. If you guys are interested in buying Sacred Blacksmith, I would recommend it because when you open it, inside there are some really lovely visuals. All in color, by the way. 7 Seas is great. They always give you colored prints. The next series I want to talk about is for all you girls who like the otome genre. So not typical shoujo romance, but a reverse harem setup. And it's called Crimson Empire. Crimson Empire is written by Quinn Rose, who's also famous for the Alice in the Country of Hearts series and games. So if you guys like that, definitely check out Crimson Empire. It's about a girl named Sheila. Here she is on the front, and she becomes a maid slash secret bodyguard for one of the princes. The prince that she protects is Edward, but she also ends up meeting Prince Justin, who is Edward's brother. She meets like scientists, other maids, other workers. She meets all these like different nobles. And because it's reverse harem, they all kind of do take a slight interest in her. Sheila does have her own backstory. It's pretty dark compared to other otome harem backstories, I think. And it does give her a bit more depth to the usual reverse harem setup. Because of her past, she is a very ruthless killer, and she can be a very ruthless killer. Because that part of her is like juxtaposed with the side of her that's usually into palace life. She has to be very like refined, and she has to serve her lord really well. The only problem that I have with Crimson Empire is that it took a little while to get into the art style. The art style is very, very gorgeous, but at the same time, I found it really hard to tell the characters apart. But the great thing about Crimson Empire is that they do give you a character rundown, and this character rundown is in every single book, so you don't have to worry about flipping back to look for introductions. Yes, they have a guide for you. They even have a brief description of everything, so you should be able to figure it out. Like many of my other manga, this is printed by 7 Seas Entertainment, and there is another another gorgeous art print inside. So if you guys are interested in Crimson Empire, please definitely pick it up. It is really fun. And you will see Sheila appear in the other anthology books that encompass a lot of the other Quid Rose characters. The next manga I want to show you guys is from a different culture. It's called the Royal Palace Goong. Here I only have volumes 5 and 13 because I got these on sale at a store. When I read Goong, I took out like all the volumes from the library, and they are pretty huge, pretty like heavy volumes. The Royal Palace Goong is a romance, but it's drawn in a very shoujo Korean style because the original story is Korean. It tells the story of a different kind of Korea, of what would happen if the royal family had continued to survive and live and thrive and rule. This girl Chai Kung ends up marrying a prince named Shin, and Shin is like a total jerk. He's one of those like jerks with a heart of gold, except the heart of gold doesn't come out till much later on, and actually he's pretty mean to Chai Kung at the beginning, but obviously he's a bad boy. He has his own backstory and whatnot, and he does kind of open up to Chai Kung after a while. She's really hilarious. The comedy in Korean manga versus Japanese manga is very different, and it's a lot more like rough and out there. It's very blatant too. Like sometimes you won't see it coming, but there's a very sharp and distinct change of art style. They do that in Japanese manga, but not as much, and a lot more subtle, I think. So I found Goong was a really interesting twist on like historical kind of drama romance. So if you guys are interested in anything like that, give Goong a try. What I've noticed from Korean manhwa artists is that their art style is very excessive. It's very shady, a lot of details, and that can be a little difficult to transition into, but other than that, you should have no problem catching on to the story. It does get super, super political, and Chai Kung ends up being thrown into modern core politics, but other than that, this is a really cool series to try. This was my first Korean manhwa series, so I definitely highly recommend it.